I did a little learning, and then the second one I know what to do, but like I just didn't get around to it in
Okay.
time.
All right. It's not going to be easy. The algorithms are they're just challenging. They're mentally challenging. Like, that's all I can say. Every time I have to do algorithms, I get mentally challenged as well. There's things I look at, I'm like, I can't solve this. There was a time I went to, in New York, there's meetups, right? I would highly suggest wherever you're located to find some sort of tech meetup to go to, right? I go to meetup.com, lots of meetups. I went to one that was at Spotify for algorithms. I mean, you had to pay money. It was like a $15 entry thing, but they give you pizza and soda. So I went there, and they had some facilitators, some people that really knew algorithms, and you paired up with 3 people that paid and the facilitator. And they gave you a sheet of algorithms, and you get to pick one. And then when it's your turn, you stand up to the whiteboard, and then you do your algorithm in front of this group of people who you've never met before, right? You're getting feedback from the facilitator. You're getting feedback from everybody. And yeah, we'll do, let's see, make you host. Okay. All right. Dang, I just made you host. There were lots of really crazy algorithms on there that I could see some of the advanced people doing, and they started at the very top of the wall and they were working their all the way down. And I just would look at that and think, that's insane. I can't do that. That's crazy. So there's things that I'm going to find challenging and you're going to find challenging. But to be honest, the truth is, the more you do it every day, work through the same algorithms, that you can then at least build this sense of confidence. Like, oh, I can do this missing numbers. Like, that's a piece of cake. I could do that with my eyes closed, right? I could do this other one. We'll find the numbers in the array that are missing. Like, you could do that. You could create a random set of numbers, right? Once you just start doing that every day, you work through the same algorithm 2 or 3 times a day. Write it on a piece of paper. Like, use all your visuals. Use all the ways that you could possibly learn. Writing it on a wall, looking at it, coloring it, whatever you got to do. Tell it to a friend who doesn't even know coding, just to like speak it and be verbal. Whatever method you use every possible learning method. And I guarantee you in a few days, you'll be able to be like, man, I could do that thing on the fly. And you build a sense of confidence, right? You feel like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. You're not feeling like, I'm dumb, I can't do it, because everyone gets in that. I get into that all the time. So it's just doing a little bit and being like, oh, I'm successful. Oh, I could do this, okay? So best advice I can do. If you don't practice every day, you will feel like a dum-dum. It comes time to doing it 3 days later. It's just, I can't tell you it's going to be any different than that, because I feel like a dum-dum when I try to do this stuff 3 days later, okay? So that's my little inspirational speech this morning. So we'll move on to...
Thanks, Joe. I am very inspired.
Okay. All right. I'm going to half believe that, Andrew. I'm going to half believe it, but I will take it. Cool. So we had left off yesterday with trying to send data. This is kind of where we had left off. We had to like cut it short, but we were using Postman to send data, right? And that's kind of where we left off, sending data to our server. So I suppose the first thing we should do is make sure that our server started. So I think I terminated everything as of yesterday. So I'm going to start up my server. Now, I don't think I ever terminated MongoD, and I think that's still running in the background, and I can tell by going to Activity Monitor, and I could just, in CPU, I could just do MongoD, and look, it's still running for me, so there's no reason for me to kick off MongoD. So I would suggest probably for the remainder of this unit, just leave it running in the background. My machine never runs slow. You don't have to stop it and start it. Just let it run. Who cares? Okay? If it's not running, then you have to start it. You know the command to start it, so I don't have to walk you through the command to start it. My server, however, that is not running. Okay? So I don't believe my server is running, but if it was running, it would be running on port 8080 because that's the port that we told this particular server to listen on, right? That's the port. So I'm going to test that. I'm going to test that theory. Localhost 8080, and my server must not be started. This is a clear indication your server is a no-go. So I have to start my server, right?
So Joe, are you sharing the screen?
Oh, am I not sharing? I am sharing, right?
Yeah, you're sharing.
Yeah, I'm sharing.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm going to start my server. What's the command we use to start the server? Like that really helpful command that refreshes. It's called
Nodemon.
Nodemon. So I'm going to start Nodemon. Now, remember, I haven't added anything to my scripts file. I think Kenny had brought it to my attention when I did introduce the scripts. He said was getting a lot of slacks. People were a little confused with the scripts. I get it. I added it to the scripts so that instead of just doing Nodemon here, I could run different development scripts. I'm not going to add it right now because, once again, I don't want to really confuse anyone. So I'm just going to run Nodemon. But if I run Nodemon here, how does it know what file to open? Anyone tell me that?
The title on main.
Okay, right here, right? It looks inside of the package.json. It looks for the JS file associated with main, and it kicks that off. Okay, so that's important to know in case you decide to change the name of your file from index here to something else, but you didn't do it here. You're going to get errors, right? It's going to trip you up. And it would. Like if I stop it and I go in here and maybe I do index underscore, or don't do this. I'm just showing you. If I did server, right? And I try to start Nodemon. Let me see. Oh, it does work. Okay. Maybe it didn't save it. Maybe it is just looking default here for index. It should have. I thought it would error out. All right. Never mind. All right. So we had left off with trying to send data to the server. Now I'm going to test out my server. My server looks like it's running, right? I'm going to refresh this. Server's up and running. We're hitting the default route because we put in a message of hitting the default route, okay? As of yesterday, I did push up Joe's solution to the repo. So there was my solution. I slacked it out yesterday that I did. So everything that we did yesterday was in there. Let's see, okay. So in our lecture here, we were supposed to send data, right? We were posting data. And so we had a route. Let me go back here and go to our route. So in index, I'm just gonna quickly go to index because that's where I added this. That wasn't in the lecture. I just added hey, here's the default routes. We know that we're hitting it. But what you don't see here is post, right? We don't see post. We don't see the action of post. That's route is going to be in one of these controllers, right? Okay. So any route that comes in as API bookmarks, all of that route gets sent to bookmarks controller. Any route that's API users gets sent to the user's controller. And so I'm going to go to my controllers up here and go to bookmarks, and I see in bookmarks there is a post route, okay? And so this post route here, I'll just put a note, post is an HTTP action, okay? So not only are we comparing the route, but we're comparing the action. So essentially, I can have the same route, but do 4 or 5 or 10 different things on the same URL, which in React you could not do. React was a watch the URL and then do something. There was no second criteria. URL dictated what you did. In Express, it's not just the URL, it's the action that you are performing, okay? I'm sending a request to post data, and so post becomes an action, as an HTTP action. So this action, along with the URL, determines what gets done, okay? That's kind of it. And so all we did here was at first just console log to see that we got it, right? And then we returned back the data that we got. That was the first testing thing, okay? So I just want to make sure everything is working. I'm gonna open up Postman, okay? Now I already opened up Postman. It's on my other screen. Postman should have been here. Oh, I don't know where Postman is. Here, I have Postman right here. Have it open on the left screen, okay? So take a moment. If you don't have Postman open up Postman. I should have just slacked that out, get ready, open up Postman, make sure everything's up and running, okay? Now with Postman up and running, we wanna post data, right? Okay. There's action words here, right? There's a drop down, a whole list of action words. The only action words that we're gonna be working with, or these methods, these are kind of HTTP methods, are get, post, put, and delete. We're not gonna be working with patch, but it's an update method. And we're just gonna be working with these four, okay? We're never gonna be concerned with these. Like I said, some of these, I've never used anything past delete. I don't know what copy head options are gonna do for me. Never used them, don't really care about them. What we want to do is to post, right? I want to post data. Okay, and where do I want to post it? Well, I want to post it in bookmarks, right? That's where I believe we were posting data yesterday. We're going to post some data to bookmarks. Okay, now I have some previous yesterday's sessions here. You see this? These are my yesterday sessions that I did. I'm working today. Every time I do something, it'll add it to my history. And so it looks like in my history, if I even go up here just to see, if I click on one of them, it looks like I should be able to see what I posted. So this is what I posted yesterday, okay? Now, we had the post, we had the command, we had the URL. Body is what we need to choose. Raw, and then over here, application JSON. So I'm just gonna take a snapshot of this. These are the options that we need those options are chosen, then you can add this into the field. Okay? How do I know that that's the data to send? Who could tell me how I could guarantee that this is the data, the keys that I should use? Who could confirm that? Where would I go to confirm that? Let's do Heather. Heather, where would I go to confirm that these two keys are the keys to post to bookmarks?
Of course you'd ask me. I remembered yesterday, but I don't know right now.
All right, so let's walk through it. Where do you think, we're trying to create something, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and so what's in charge of keeping track of the things that we create and storing them? What keeps track of those? What's the tool? What's our database tool? You can just say it. What's the tool? Who else? Cassidy, you want to help Heather out? You're off the hook, Heather.
Is it Seed.js?
Okay,
or could you also go to modal's bookmark where you set the information?
Okay, so that's where we're going. We're going to go to seed. Seeds our database, right? That's our seeding process. But the database only knows to seed it based on the criteria inside of the models folder in bookmarks. Title and URL are the keys that we use to create, right? And so think of the database as like an Excel spreadsheet, right? Multiple tabs on an Excel spreadsheet. So our database is this multiple tabs, and each is the sheet, and each tab is a collection, okay? And in this particular collection or tab in our Excel spreadsheet, we have title and URL as the values that we can write to. So it's really important that when we write to them, here we go, that they are the values that we chose, okay? If we try to send something that doesn't exist, you know, Mongoose, Mongo are going to be like, whoa, there's no value like that there. You can't write that thing like that. Okay. So I'm going to test writing this, right? I'm going to test adding this as a bookmark. And if I send the data, right, I should get something here. I should get a return. Let me see. Look, I get the data sent back to me. Why did I get the data sent back to me? Mark, why is the data sent back to me? What did I do to get the data to be sent back to me?
Well, you posted it, but I think there's a get function on the bottom side.
Okay, so I'm going to take a look.
Do you
All
ever
right,
get-
It is there like,
so here's the question. If I receive something back, does that mean that the server must have had some sort of directive on what to do when we hit the route?
Yes.
yes, it will
Right.
be.
Okay, and so I'm in bookmarks. What in bookmarks sent back the data?
That would be your res.json new bookmark.
Exactly. Okay, I just want to kind of do the review of yesterday where if we don't have a res response, that the client hangs. It just waits and waits. The relationship. Remember when I was like asking questions? I forgot who I was asking. Who was that? Kristen, I was asking like, Kristen, how you doing? She didn't respond. Kristen, how you doing? She didn't respond, right? The relationship between the client and the server is to ask a question and get a response. I request data and the server responds with data. If there is no res, if this keyword here is not referenced at all in any way, shape, or form, the client will hang for a predetermined period of time defined by the HTTP protocol, and then the page will time out. You always want to send something back. You always want to have proper lines of communication, okay? Always, always, always. So here, we want to send res.json, send the data back to us. Now, I'm only doing this to test that the data hit the server, the data was parsed by the server, and then the server could send it back to us, okay? Because this rec.body is working in coordination with, I'm going to go to the index file, it's working in coordination with this right here, parser, body parser, and these two lines of code right here, okay? Between the three of those lines, we are able to send data to the server. The server is able to parse it, right? It's sent as a string of text, and the server now is able to turn it from a string of JSON into an actual JSON thing that we can work with, and we can then send that back as JSON, which is the relationship that happened. Okay, these are the things you have to know. In the end, if you ask me to write out this whole server, I would have to look at another server because I don't write servers on a regular basis. This is it. After we get through this unit, I won't be writing Express servers probably for another 2 months. So if I have to write this out, I have to look and reference. So don't try to memorize everything. Just know that you can always copy a previous server, paste it, and you'll have some of the basic structure. Okay, I just wanted to show you that this is needed. And if you forget to add this data, something happens. So watch, you don't do this. I'm just going to show you. If I comment this out right now, and I try to do another postman, right? Where's my postman again? Right here. I'm going to send it. I didn't get a response back, right? Why didn't I get a response back? I'm not sure. I have to look at my server and see, like, this is a bookmark. It gives me undefined. It didn't get the data. So my server doesn't have it, okay? Something was sent to the server, but the server couldn't process it. And I was like, whoa, I don't know what you're doing, but can't really do anything with it, okay? So this is important here. These things are important. I just want to emphasize that, okay? A lot of students get lost in this. They forget to add it, forget to do it. They're not getting the data. And 30 minutes later, they burn because of just this one thing. All right. going to test it again. Should work. If I send it, now I should get the data. Awesome. We get the data. That's really where we want to be. Okay. So what's the next thing? Okay. Well, we want to send data there, right? So you do updating data, right? Let me go back here. Do we write the data? No, we only did the new bookmarks. Okay. So this is where we left off. You do updating. Updating is a bit more tricky, right? We didn't really, oh, here we go. This is what we have to finish. We didn't finish. This line of code right here, that line of code allows us to create the entry in the database, okay? This line of code allows us to create the entry. Right now, we're just sending it back to us, but there's no point in sending it back to me. I want to create the thing, okay? So in our bookmarks controller, right, I am going to add that line of data, okay? Oh, sorry. And you should, at that point in time, hold on a second, I'm just trying to pull it up. JSON, just making sure we get that syntax is going to create it. Controllers, right? Boop. All right. Okay. So with that there, I'm going to select this out as well. Just make sure. Oh, that was the wrong one. Delete that. Copy. Boom. All right. There we go. So bookmark, create, grab what's in the body, which should be an object, then res.json. You see this? So I don't need this res.json because you can only have one res, one response. If you try to have multiple responses, it's going to break, okay?
Joe.
Yeah.
You moved something in your syntax.
Yes, I did. I see. Here's bookmark. Here we go. Oh. Did I do it? Book. Oh, here we go. I'm just going to repaste what I had. Yeah, okay. So you can only have one res. If you try to do two reses, you're going to get an error. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure it works the first time. So I'm just going to do this. Get rid of that second res. So I only respond one time. And I'm going to send the data. So here's my server. I'm going to send the data. And look, what did it send me back though? It's different. The first time it sent me back the same data that I gave it. What did it give me now? Like, what can you tell that is here?
It gave you a key.
Yeah.
For starters.
So it gave me like two things. I mean, it gave me the key, the ID, but it also gave me this _v. We see our values, but we have this key, right? Now I know that that thing is there, okay? I know that it's there. Now, yesterday or this morning, I asked everyone to download this MongoDB Compass tool because it's just a GUI tool. Might help you. I think, Mike, you had asked for it. And so I downloaded it. I installed it. I mean, I already had it installed. I've had it installed for a while now. And let me move the tool over here. I just want you to see what it looks like. This was the tool, okay? A MongoDB Compass. I'll start it from scratch again. I'm going to stop it. MongoDB Compass. So if you installed it, you signed up, that's fine. If you didn't, I'm not walking through the install. I'm not doing any of that. You just watch, okay? This is so that we didn't blow any time trying to install this thing. But if I start it up, see? Still should be starting, unless it's starting on one of my other screens. Interesting. I'm gonna force it to quit, then I'm gonna restart it. Here we go. Once I started, you get this little spinning thing. It's trying to connect to your databases. I'm on this page. I'm not going to change anything on this page. As a matter of fact, these things are like, they're kind of grayed out already. Maybe I could type in there, but I'm not going to touch anything. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to leave it just the way it is. You should see port 27017. You should see localhost. All of these should be set to the defaults. I didn't change them. I just connect. And watch, when I connect, I have a lot of databases because I've been using this for a lot of classes. The database that we're using for this class is Book E, right? That's our database. You'll just take my word. Then we have bookmarks and users, right? Bookmarks and users are the two collections. And if I click on bookmarks, I am going to see the bookmarks in here. These are all the bookmarks, okay? The last one that I added was this, example.com. This is the last one that I added, okay? Now I can test this again. I'm just gonna test it so you can see that the data got added. I'm gonna go back to Postman and I'll add something else. So title, maybe REPL, I don't know, REPL.it is something that I like. Do I have that there? Let me make sure I don't have it. Google, know your name, example, Reddit, cool. REPL's not there. So this is at, you know, REPL.it. So I'm gonna just say title is REPL. I'm gonna send the data. Look, I got sent back something. Here's the key. And if I go here, I should see at the very end, if I refresh this, refresh it, I now have that entry, okay? This is just a really cool tool for you to use later on when you're in project week and you're like adding things and you don't wanna have to do like, oh my God, you have to go to the Mongo terminal to select things. This is just an easy tool to use, okay? So just want to show you that we can add things here. And I'll go back and take a look every once in a while. And I'll see this is the object ID that it gave me back. That's the object ID that I have, okay? Sweet. So I'll put it right behind it. Okay, so we're all able to create data at this point in time. Okay, you should be able to create data. So now it's your turn to do this. You are gonna update the data. Okay, so the question is like, how do you update the data? Well, you learned about params and sending information the other day, right? So we learned about sending values as a param. And there should be in here, let's take a look at our server. Did we do anything with params? We did title. So you have title as a way to grab something that somebody sends. You have rec.body to also send data if you wanted. And you have this put route. That's a method, okay? And what you're gonna do is use the put route and you're gonna use a parameter, search for a record, okay? What's the title of something? All right, and then you're gonna use the model, find one and update, which takes in 3 arguments. What are you looking to find? Right? Add new data to update the old record. And then an additional option of Mongoose is to return the updated record. I clearly remember this when Nathaniel was teaching. I think James had asked the question, like, how does it return the data? Like, there's this new option that says new, true, means you return the updated version of the record instead of the old version of the record, okay? So I'm going to give you some time to try to figure this out. Baby step it. If I asked you to baby step it, Amy, what would be the first thing that you would baby step in this thing? What would be how would you approach it at the most basic level to baby step it?
On the new item, is that what you're saying? Or the whole
Yeah, this whole process, what's your first baby step?
Console log? I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Those are your favorite baby steps.
It's one of them, but walk me through
Right.
what you would do here. The first step is this. So what would be the first baby step?
I would, the first thing I would do is copy and paste one of the things we were doing with the Git and change it to put,
Okay.
and start walking through. And then I would go to the Postman and try to add in the link, the URL. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Keep
That's
blanking
good.
on where.
That's the baby step. I'm going to stop you there, but that's the baby step. I mean, you create a put route, and maybe you console log that the route was hidden, right?
Yeah.
You can go to Postman, change the drop down to be put, confirm that the route is hit because you'll see console log put route hit. Awesome, right? Now, next baby step would be to maybe send back the data that you sent it, just to test that it's getting data, and then you can send it back, right? Like all I'm doing is like guaranteeing that the route works. Awesome, check, route works. Is the route receiving data? Yeah, check, route receives the data. Then you move on to the next thing. When you can guarantee these small things, you don't get caught, in the mix and try to do too much at once, and then you never guaranteed the first thing worked, okay? That's what you want to do. Let's thank Amy for getting us started with baby steps, Amy. Thank you. All right. So, Nathaniel, you want to create breakout rooms? And I'll set the clock for 15 minutes.
Did you guys get your breakout rooms?
Yeah, you were gonna see if you could help me with the MongoDB thing.
Yeah. Amy, did you get a breakout room? I think you're.
Yeah, I just didn't click fast enough.
Oh, okay. No worries.
I was reading the website and then I was like, oh, I guess I should go. Sorry.
What issue are you having, Heather? Oh, go ahead, Nathan. You go ahead.
I don't really know. It's opening and it looks like the image I showed you. It just looks really grainy and strange. And then when I try to open it, it gives me that error or warning or whatever every time.
But you may have to just try re-downloading. She's Max not liking the Mongo Compass application and giving her a security warning when she's trying to open it.
Oh, the Mongo Compass one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you may have to just try re-downloading it, like uninstall, re-download. Something might have happened in the download that got screwed up.
How do I install it easily? So.
Oh, I see. Can I check if it? Sometimes when I install some software, there's like a security checkbox where you have to be like, it's not trusted by the App Store, and like you have to go into like security preferences to do that. So I think this might be it. It's been a while since I installed it. So let me just take a quick look. I'm not sure that that's yours.
Okay.
I'm going to go into my system preferences. I want to see, I'm in system preferences. I'm going to go to security. This might be it. I'm not sure. Once again, security, software. Maybe it is software update. No, I don't think it's software. Where's security? Security and privacy. Right here. Is it apps? See how it's allow apps downloaded from the App Store and identified developers, and if that's and that may be the case. Like it may not see it as a identified developer. If it's not that, then it's definitely. Oh, I had to go to this a few times with pieces of software. Let me just see. Is it firewall security? No.
So I tried downloading from your exact link, Heather, and it worked on mine. Can you try launching it? So how you've been launching it is you go into your applications folder and you double click it. Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, that's what I had done.
Okay. So, yeah, I think really just try re-downloading it. And again, Mongo Compass, you don't have to have it. You know, it's just a tool. You can do everything through the Mongo command line, just like Kenny showed and then I showed in my lecture. That'll do it all the same things exactly, but this is a tool that might make it a little easier to see what's going on.
So to uninstall it, I'm in applications. Is there like a certain way?
I think you just don't you
Right.
just drag it to like the
Crash.
garbage can or something? Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, it's Mac makes it so easy.
And you left it at the version like 1.204 stable, etc. Okay.
Yep. And Macintosh 64-bit.
Yeah.
If Heather, we can't get it done in like the next 2 or 3 minutes, then just jump in and start working on it, because
Yeah.
this is
that's
just a
fine.
nice bonus, and I could always get you through during lunchtime or something. Like if you get back an ID, you know the thing was added. Like that's a guarantee. This was just additional fluff to be like, oh, this is cool. I can see it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So
Okay. We can work on it later. Maybe we'll work on it during lunch or something. Maybe just spend a few minutes once we.
that's fine. Thank you.
All right, you got it, Heather. Word up.
There we go. All right.
What's Kenny working on?
I'm not.
Cool. So, only one click. We only got one click. No one else. Someone's clicking. Thumbs up. Go
I was
on.
like, is that one click your click?
No, I'm gonna remove my click. I'm gonna remove it because one of them is mine. There we go.
Yeah.
Remove my click. I'm so sad. So sad my click. All right. Let's take a look at what we're trying to do here. So if I follow the baby step procedure, which was something we discussed, I'm going to create a new route. You know, and you might even do this because I liked the suggestion that Amy made. You just copy and paste, right? And then edit. Okay. Copy and paste and then edit, right? I could take this whole thing, paste it, and then edit it. And copy and paste it isn't so bad, but it's knowing what to edit, right? Now, we know it's not post because you were clearly told it was put. That was the method in here, right? It said put route. Put is the action word. So put is what we want to do. Now, I can take this because you're going to be sending me data. So I could possibly even leave that there, but it's not a new bookmark, right? It's an updated bookmark. So I don't really need new bookmark. I could probably just maybe say, and it really doesn't matter at this point in time, bookmark, I don't know, data or bookmark object, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter, but it's going to be the bookmark data that we get back, okay? Well, are we actually getting data? What are we? Oh, we are getting data. We are, okay. So what else are we gonna get back? What else did we send? This title, right? How do I grab this parameter? How do I grab that? I'm gonna go back here. How would I grab what the title was? Any ideas?
You needed that like rec.params.title,
Okay.
right? You
I
got
do
it.
need that. I'm also missing something from up here, but let's just assume, let's do maybe let title is equal to rec.params.title. Okay. We could do that. You know, and some of these, you know, I think I'm actually jumping the gun here. I'm going to just baby step it. Let me do what I was suggesting you do, right? So I'm going to comment this out, and I'm just going to do this. Console log hitting the put routes, right? I'm even jumping the gun here. I'm trying to add too much. Hitting the put route. If this works, then I hit it, and at least I know I'm hitting it. Awesome. So I'm going to run it now. Here's hitting the put route. I'm going to go to Postman here, and I'm going to change this drop down to put. We're hitting bookmarks. Now I'm not going to get anything back. It's going to hang. You don't have, could not get any response. And we're not getting any response because I don't have a res.send. Oh, my server's not started because I pushed up the solution earlier too. So let me start my server. Okay. So I'm just console logging. I should see the console log here. That's all I'm looking to do. So let me do this. Let me go back here. Let me hit it again. Boom. It's sending the, I'm waiting. Why is it stuck in this limbo land here? Why is it stuck? I mean, I hit the put route. You said it earlier, Mark. Why are we stuck here in limbo land?
Because we are not sending any response back.
Yeah, we're not sending a response. So this thing just stays, right? So we know that we can send a response, right? So I'm just going to test res.json to send an object that says maybe like, I don't know, success, status. Let me do this. Status, okay. That's it. I just want to let them know that the data was received or you hit the route. Once again, this is just baby stepping. I'm going to send JSON. We know how to send JSON. We know that this is an object. JSON is an object. I'm going to test this out. Now watch. Send. Look. Baby step number 2. I can connect to the server. I can console. I can send back data. Awesome. I now know that I can send data. But the piece of data that I want to send the title of something. So I must use a parameter to do this, right? Okay. What's the title of something? All right, well, this route needs to be updated for me to get title. I need to do this, title. Or anything. It doesn't have to be called title. You could call it anything, but anything after the colon will be representative as a parameter that was sent. Okay? So the ultimate of doing this is going to create something like this, right? So we know that we can send back data. We don't need this anymore, right? I don't need that anymore, but we can leave that because I want to do this. I want to make sure that if I do rec.params, I can get the title value, okay? Now you can just do, just for the sake of it, just do rec.params. What is that return value of rec.params? What does it give you back?
Object.
An object. And that object should have what as its key?
A title.
Title. And then whatever value we sent, right, will be the dynamically generated value. All right, with that in mind, let's do this. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to give it a title, right? I think I put REPL as one of those bookmarks, right? REPL. You could use Microsoft. You could use, it has to be one of the things that we created, right? Reddit, doesn't matter. You know, I'll just do what I know everyone has. Reddit is something you definitely have. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to send it. I get status okay because I never sent anything back. Let me go back to the server. And look, hitting the put route. I should put hitting the put route, right? This is the return value. It's an object with a key of title, which means if we do params.title, we get back the value of title, right? That makes sense. Okay. So I'm able to send the title. I'm able to grab the value of the title, right? All right. So now, and we can even send back that title to it if we want. We can just say, instead of saying this, status okay, we could actually even maybe send back what they sent to us. We can even send here rec.params so that we could see that it was sent. Once again, I'm just kind of playing the game of back and forth, making sure I understand everything. Send it, and look, I get title, right? That's it. Make sure it works. Now, What's the next step? Okay. Use the parameter search to search for a record. Use the rec.body to send data to the model. Okay. So we need to start working with our bookmark here, right? We're not creating anymore. Okay, so I'm just gonna get rid of this. We can always recreate it later. I just wanna clear up everything here. All right. So we're not doing bookmark create anymore, right? It's gonna undo this. Let's just get started with that. I don't need this, right? That's all I want. It's not bookmark create. What is the method here?
Find one and update.
Yeah, so the method is find one and update. Okay. Now, before we do this, though, what did we not send? So, you know what? Before I test this out, I feel like I need one more baby step before I do this. Okay, one more baby step. What's the baby step we should do here? Think about what I've been doing. I made sure the route worked. Awesome. I console logged. Great. I sent back some data. Awesome. I grabbed the title. Console logged that.
Probably do like a bookmark.find and see if you can actually just find it.
Okay. We
But-
could do that. We could work on bookmark.find and do it. But what's the next thing that it needs? If we're updating, what are we going to be doing? What do we need to update?
The URL.
Or any of it, right? You could change the title if you want to in the end, but the URL is probably the thing that we're going to change. Once again, you could update it from Reddit with 1D to 2 to 3Ds, whatever, 2Ds, 1D, whatever it is. You could do that. So I would just do this. I would say here, we hit it. We know that works. Let's do this. Let bookmark equal to rec.body. Okay? Rec.body. And maybe instead of sending back rec.params, because we already know that works, why don't we send back rec.body? Right? Just to make sure. If we see it, we know it. We need to send data to this thing now, right? We have to do this via Postman. So if I'm still on body, I'm still on raw, I'm still on application JSON, but I want to send data. Now, maybe I want to change the URL, so maybe it's not repl.it, maybe it's repl.com, right? Maybe that's it, or change the whole URL altogether. Doesn't really matter. I can say another URL altogether. It doesn't make a difference what it is. We're just trying to make sure that we send, right? All right. Oh, yeah, I'm going to change this to be Reddit, though, all right? So if we're sending data, there should be a URL and this, and let's take a look. I'm going to send it. Send. And look, it sends it back to me, so it gets the body. It gets the body. It gets the title. I think we're all set, right? We're all set to do the update because we got everything we need from here, okay? So now we do this. Now I can run this thing, right? So, hey, bookmark, find one, and update, okay? We're not doing rec.body anymore because we have to find one and update. What's the thing that we're trying to find? The title, right? And the title is going to be rec.params.title. Now, I don't really want to do this. I'd rather have my variables up here do that. So I'd rather do this. Rec.params.title. Just a baby step. And then instead of doing this, I could just say title, right? We could do this, title. Or with ES6, we could probably just put one word of title. That might work. I haven't tested that out. Okay. Find one and update. What else do we need here? What else does find one and update do? There's something else we need to do here. Are we updating something? Yes. So we need the I'm going to say the bookmark, maybe the bookmark body. Once again, I just captured it in body. We could put rec.body here and it'd be the same thing. Okay. Comma. And then we are going to do something else here. Okay. The something else that we're going to add here is the need to send back the thing that we just updated. Send that back. Okay. So I could probably, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this all on one line. At least this, and I'll put the then on a separate line. Kind of like fetch, right? This is how we used to do fetch. Okay. And then it should respond back with the bookmark. You can't have two res.jsons, so I really need to get rid of this res.json. Can't have two. We can only have one. And so this should work. That should work. Let's test it out. Okay. If I updated it, it's going to go from whatever it was, the Reddit URL, to another URL altogether. All right. And since we already sent this, I'll just say maybe Microsoft, just so that we can say that it changed a little bit. Doesn't really matter what it is. Okay. I'm going to send it. Look, I got back an updated thing. Okay. I got it back. You see? And all it took, once again, what the baby steps, right? Confirm that this works. Awesome. Send a title, confirm that the title works. Awesome. Send back the title just to know that you can have this communication. Awesome. Send some body. Cool. Did you get the body? Awesome. Send it back. Cool. I know that I can send it back. Great. Grab them both and then update. If you can get the data, there's a good chance this is going to work, right? This is the kind of thing that you have to test, and I would test that out at the very end. Right? Once I guarantee everything. These are the baby steps that I would perform. Okay? Any questions on the put? Yours is really choppy, Mohammed.
What is for this is
You're
sorry?
super choppy. If you want, you can type it in Tech Talk and I can try to answer.
So what I'm saying, what this new colon true is doing, I'm a little bit confused. New,
I'm sorry. What? Where?
this new statement, new, like new.
Where's? Oh, here. All right.
Yeah.
Who can answer that? What new is doing?
It returns the new item and replaces it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So new true returns the newly updated item, right?
Okay.
You know, the thing is also, sometimes if you're curious about what happens if you don't include things, don't include it. See what happens, you know? A lot of the times trying to answer the questions, you can answer sometimes these questions on your own if you just test it. If you removed new, that whole thing, and you sent it and you saw a difference, you could probably say like, oh, this one sends it this way, this one sends it that way. It could probably take you like a minute to run those tests. I'm not just saying you, Man. I'm just saying anyone. Sometimes the questions that are asked can be answered by just testing it out.
So I have one more question, like Joe, just for the practical. So right now, like we are assuming that, okay, we will get a bookmark from the body. Okay. So ideally we should have a validation check here also. Like I'm just thinking at that, if we are doing some implementation as a developer. So do we need to have a check here to make sure that body has a proper values? For example, like if two.
Yeah, Mohammed, in the end, sure. Should you be validating things? Possibly. Like when you're thinking about the algorithms, and I ask everyone to ask a question. All right, ask a question. And the question would be something like, is it possible that the array doesn't contain any values? Right? And that would be your edge case, right? If it's numbers, does the array contain letters? That's your edge case, right? In the end, sure, you could add layers here that would be like, make sure that the thing's not empty. Make sure that they actually sent me data, because then what's the point of performing this action if they didn't send me any data? They hit a title, but they didn't send the body. You know what I'm saying? So that's a really good question. We're not going to perform that validation, but that's a really good question, and that you're thinking in that developer mindset. Okay?
Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions?
I've got a question.
Sure, Mike.
Yeah, I've got a question, Joe. So when we do the find one and update in bookmark, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're sending both the title and the URL. So if we were tasked only with updating the title and not the URL and put, would that be as easy as on line 32 doing something like rec.body.title?
Well, body doesn't contain title, right? Or does it? Let me see. Did we put title? Yeah, I actually put the title here. We don't necessarily need the title. I don't think so. Just to answer your question, I think that's what you're asking, right? Do we need this? Right? That is your question, correct?
My question is, can you update one or the other?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Can you only send the element that you're changing, or the object, or the entry that you're changing?
Yeah, you could change the title. Like you could say, well, here you're saying like, I want to find the thing with the title, and then I want to update these entries. So as in essence, if this bookmark wasn't called, maybe it was called bookmark, but bookmark represents something that had the title, a different title, and a different URL, then it would do the update. Think about it like this. You found the thing that you wanted. It's like me asking you go look in your Google Docs and look for this file, and you find the file, right? At the same time that you find the file, you can edit what's in the document, but you can edit the document title too, right? At that point in time, the document isn't the same document. It's kind of a little different because it has a different title. It has a different content. And the next time you look for it, you have to look with the new title because you changed the name of it, right? So you can change any one of these properties. In the end, you do need something to start with, right? I have to find the title, and then I can update whatever I really want to do, okay? So it might have been like, oh, I want to change the title and the URL all together because I mistyped it, or the way that they created it originally had underscores, and I want to, whatever it is, you can easily do that, okay? And I think, I could shorten this because they're both title. I think we could do this. It is using JavaScript and objects. I think if we shortened it and maybe see title as the key with title as the value, just like React. I don't know. I haven't tested this. I'm just going to test it out, see if that works. Let's test this out. So Reddit would go, and I'm going to just change this maybe back to Reddit because we know that right now it's Microsoft.com. I just want to see look, it did it. Single values, just like React, just like using single value keys, find a variable with the same name, boop, they marry together, and you're able to do this syntax, okay? Now, once again, I like breaking these things down. I like putting them in variables, console logging them. It makes it easier for somebody to read, right? Remember, you're writing the code for the next person. You're not writing it for you or for somebody more advanced, somebody at your level or below your level, somebody that needs to look at this code, understand the code when you leave the job. That's the ultimate goal, okay? Feeling good about this?
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Okay. I just really want, if we can wrap our minds around what's happening here with the routes, right? This action word of put, right? So some of those action words that we've been using, action words or HTTP verbs, they're actually called HTTP verbs, right? Those verbs so far have been get, right? That's really it, right? Oh, no, post. What's the other one? Put is now one that we've worked with. And the other one I know was answered yesterday, delete. Those are the verbs. And so router.get or router.post or router.put or router.delete performs in action. In of it by itself, the action must have supporting code that does the deleting, right? Just because you put doesn't mean that the router knows, oh my God, we got to update. Like the router's just like, oh, usually this verb is used that they're going to send data and there will be some commands inside that perform update. But the router doesn't know to update. These are semantic words for us to use to send commands and to create separate routes that allow us to do what essentially will be CRUD, right? And CRUD stands for what? Shazad, what is CRUD? CRUD is, you got this one. CRUD is, it is,
Create, read, update, delete.
bingo. Okay. I think it took more time to come off mic just to say that. But yeah, create, read, update, and delete. Okay. And these are the action verbs that allow us to perform those actions. Okay. These are conceptually those words. All right.
Joe, can I just ask you a quick question?
Sure.
On line 36, you have lowercase bookmark. Does that refer up to line 33?
Yeah.
And then the ones on 37 like are referring to each other?
Exactly. So maybe just conceptual, and I like the fact that you pointed this out. If I really wanted to make this on point with what things reference, I might say something like this, bookmark data, and change this to be bookmark data, right? And then maybe this is the bookmark object and it's returning back the object. Like I might do something like this to differentiate all these words that are being created, right? And we can guarantee that this still works if we want to test it. I just go back here and now I do Microsoft again. Microsoft. It should work, right? Microsoft. Boom. And it works, right? So to avoid any.
I just wanted to make sure I had it right because mine won't. It worked when we did just the rec.body, but now that we've got that other line on 36, it just sits there and runs. It won't return anything.
All right, do me a favor.
I have it right, but
slack your code. Just put it in the Mickey's channel. Let me just take a quick look.
Okay.
I always think it's useful to troubleshoot one or two errors, just because.
Can you also ping your code like Joe, whatever is done? This
code right here?
This one, yeah, please.
Okay, sure thing. I will slack my code.
Included your commits also. Include your commits
Okay,
also.
Yep. So let me take a look. So this is your code, Amy. I'm going to take your code and put it right here, and let's take a look. I'm just going to compare mine to yours. Put, right? Title, rec, res. All right, console log. All right, update bookmark. I called mine bookmark data. You code yours this. No biggie. Title is rec.params. That looks good. Find one update. Title. These two match. Update bookmark. This should, all intents and purposes, work. So let me comment mine out and we'll test your code. I visually cannot see where this would be erroring unless it's like a syntax error someplace, right? Okay, really? I almost feel like it should work. All right, let's take a look. Reddit.
I feel the same.
All right, we're on board. Like Reddit, it works.
I don't know. Mine just keeps saying sending requests and just sits there. But
So
I know it worked before because when we did what you have on line 43 there, when we did that, it returned for me.
Yeah,
but now it won't.
Interesting that it wouldn't.
We don't need to focus on it. We can.
Okay.
I
Maybe
can
I'll
work on it later.
Look at it. If the Postman tool is just kind of like looping and that's all it's doing, you maybe try closing Postman, reopening Postman, because you have res.send and res.json that will send back the data, and that's what keeps this relationship open. I request something, you respond back, and we have a line of communication here. Okay. Sweet. All right. So why don't we, it's 12:16 or 16 minutes after, take a 10-minute break. Can we do that, right? Kristen's like, yes, break time, and everyone seconds it. Yes. All right. So come back at 26 minutes. So let's do break time. Come back at 16 minutes past the hour. Okay, if anyone had a problem, Amy, we can work through yours if you want to stick around on your break. Okay, so I can stop sharing. Actually, just test. Did you stop Postman and restart Postman?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I guess I didn't do command quit. Maybe I should do it that way.
Are we talking? I'm sorry. The
What?
postman? Are we talking the postman? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you X'd out of it, it should. And if it's still open down here, you can just right click on it and quit it. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like quit the tool, restart it. Because I can't imagine, but I can stop sharing. Just open it up. See if it works when you reopen it. If it doesn't work, I'll let you. Okay.
As we're talking about algorithms, do you have any links or some PDF documents where we can practice more algorithms?
I do have some. I also slacked out in Tech Talk the PDF of the book that I mentioned. Yeah, and there's a couple of other sites. I think Nathaniel, there's a couple other sites that.
Code Wars.
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
Code Wars is good.
There's also Free Code Camp has a bunch of them.
Okay.
Can you grab the link to Free Code Camp and put that in Tech Talk? I think that's a really good one to work through. But there's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different sites. I like the Free Code Camp because it's really, they really start slow and then work up.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
Okay, so that was good. We figured out how to post something. Okay. We also had just a small issue when I was helping Amy with her problem. We figured out, and I posted in Mickey's channel, that if Mongod isn't started, you're going to get some sort of error message like that. So get used to these messages, because those messages, if not for Mongo, you're going to find them with other database tools that are listening on a service, or other applications that are listening on a service. The service isn't started and you try to connect to it, you're going to get a message like that or similar to like that. Okay. So it was a clear indication of what's happening, especially the one thing that gave it away from that message. What's the one thing that really gave it away that would have led me to believe that it was Mongod?
The 27017.
Exactly, because we know that that port is a Mongod port. If it was port 80, then I'd know it HTTP didn't respond. It was 443, I know it would be HTTPS is broken. Okay, sweet. Thanks for posting. I'm gonna actually pin that too, just in case. Pin to the channel. That is our actual first pin, Amy, our first pin. Look at that. I know, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's pin time. All right. So now we need to delete a record, right? Delete at routes, API bookmark title. You still need rec.params to grab the title, search for the record, and delete it, and there's the method. Now, the same thing holds true if we were to like baby step the process. Let's see, I'm gonna get somebody who's not Mark. If we want to baby step this process, what do we do? What are some of the baby steps that I'm going to do here, right? I don't need Amy's. I'm going to put mine back here. What would be like a baby step to get the delete route working?
First line, change the put to a delete.
Okay, change put to delete. Awesome. That's my first baby step.
Let's see.
Just think what we did.
You would try, well, you'd hit the page.
Okay.
And then if you got something back, make sure, make sure something comes back. You gotta make sure the route's right. And you would probably change your find one and update to delete.
Okay. Sure.
And then you'd probably test it out. See how it works.
What is it? Find one and update, or is it just delete?
I believe it's.
I'll have to take a look, but you're right. You're on track to do what it is exactly that we're looking to do, right? to find one and update, or change find one and update to find one and updates and delete, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, find one and delete. Thank you.
All right, so change the update to console, like you hit the red and or what else would I then be the next kind of baby step? Once again, once you get the baby step,
You gotta find what data you want to delete.
okay. Or what is the server sending? Are we sending data?
Oh, yeah, console log.
And or res.json, like title is rec.params.title, right?
Yep.
That's it. Just baby step it. Like if you can guarantee these little things, you'll bang it out, and then eventually you can stop doing these small things because you can guarantee that they work. Okay. All right. Let's jump into breakout rooms. I think you're going to do this a lot quicker than 15 minutes, especially with the steps. The fact that you just did update, this should really happen. So, Nathaniel, you want to put them back in the breakout rooms, and I'll set a timer. And
you're good to go.
You are good to go. I'm going to set this to 10 minutes because I really feel like everyone's going to do it long before that. Sweet. Did you get a room, Conan?
Cool.
Man. Do you see any difference? Because you were on, you were off yesterday, right? No, you were on.
I was on yesterday. I've been on all week since I'm going to be gone all day tomorrow and Tuesday.
So how do you think they're doing compared to
Alex?
Alex, I know, I just had a brain fart. Yeah. What's your take on it?
I think they're doing actually pretty well. They don't seem.
All right, looks like everybody's back. So, baby steps, right? I know if I just copy paste this, I just have to do one thing, right? A few things, right? I'm just going to get rid of everything in here and just put, I'm going to leave title. What am I doing? Title. This is just delete, right? That's it. Now I know if I test this out that if I hit the delete, I'm going to follow the console log that you hit the default route or res.json status okay, whichever one. I think the biggest impact was just res.json, right? I'm already in Postman. If I see that the thing's there, I know that it hit it. I don't need to console log it. So I'm just going to do res.json and do status okay. That's it. If I do that and I hit it, I should see it, right? Just get that back. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to change the drop down to delete. Doesn't matter what I send. Who cares what I send? I'm not even capturing that data. I just want to get something back that says status okay. Boom, status okay. I know that it works. Awesome. Console log that you hit the title and or res.gen title.params, right? All right. I want to see if it's the title. So I'm still going to do the whole, const title is equal to rec.params.title, right? Status okay. I could just here, status okay. I could even do this, title, just that. Maybe even that'll work. Let's see. Should just send back status okay and the title, knowing that we grabbed it here. Okay, title's up here. Delete, send, look. I get status okay and I get the title. Awesome. So I know that I'm sending the data, it's sending it back. This is good news. The last thing is change find one and update to find one and delete. So I'm just gonna copy this so I don't have to write everything out from scratch. Find one and update, find one and delete, right? Okay, now I don't need to send any bookmark data, right? There's no point in sending bookmark data because I'm deleting everything. I don't need it to send me anything because it's deleting it. So the only thing you really need to do is send the title. There's no updating body. There's nothing here. It's just delete it. And then what are we going to send back once we do that? Well, we'll send back something, right? Just send back the bookmark. At least you'll have a...
I just sent back what we deleted, so...
Yeah. And you could, if you wanted to, you could just do a status okay or something. It doesn't really matter. Let's test it out. So I'm going to delete it. And it sends back status. Oh, did it not delete it? Let me show. Oh, so who can tell me why all I'm getting back now is the same thing that I sent, status okay and title? Okay. Can anyone tell me that?
You have two res.jsons. The first one's okay.
All right. So here, I want you to see this message right here. I'm going to post this message right here. No, it's like now. Okay. Cannot set headers after they are sent to client. That, I'm going to put a note here. That is the result of having two reses. And I'm just going to put reses. And in parens, maybe res dot send or res dot JSON. It doesn't matter which one of those that you use, but the fact that I have two, it doesn't allow you to do it a second time. You've responded to the client, client's cool with it, you can't respond to them again. So this has to go, okay? So now if I test it, now it's just saying no, because the thing's dead, it's gone, right? There is no thing there anymore. It is gone, completely gone. It doesn't exist. Okay, if I try to get Reddit, I get nothing because there is no Reddit anymore, right? If I try to get, just to make sure, REPL, there is a REPL. I know that there's a REPL, but there is no Reddit because it doesn't exist, okay? So here's the router delete. There you go. Okay. All right. Did anyone's not work? Okay. I mean, you got the solution now. I'm just curious. I only saw 4 clicks, so I have to assume some of you didn't get it. Maybe you hit an error.
Just got it.
Okay. All right.
So I didn't have time to click, but I got it eventually.
Okay. I just want to know if there was an error in anything, we could always troubleshoot that, figure out the problem. Maybe the error allows us to capture them like I'm capturing them here. Okay. I'll also pin this one too, pin that message. So now we have 2 errors that if you ever have a problem, the first thing I'm going to say is go look at our pin messages. Is it one of those errors? Okay. Awesome. So now we're jumping into the second portion of this, okay? Second app. Now, what we're gonna do is create CRUD with 2 related models. All right, well, what does that mean, 2 related models? And so, to that end, there's 2 related models. Here, I put together this. I hope you can see it really good. Let me. All right. So we have one table, this user collection and the bookmarks collection. I could flip them. It's all the same. this is kind of what a collection looks like, right? We have the, you know, the ebook database. They're all part of the ebook database. So if I really wanted to, you know, insert another shape, I think I made this so tiny now, I can't even see it. If I want to do this, and then, oh, you know what? I have to normalize this because it's just too small for me. Let me go transparent, and we could insert text box. And in here, I could say the ebook database, right? All right. And these are our collections. So this is the ebook database, and these are our 2 collections in the database. That database controls those collections, okay? Now, we've been working with bookmarks, and we know that there's a title. There's an ID column, right? It created it. We didn't create it. It's responsible. The database tool is responsible for the IDs. We do not care about managing IDs. It manages IDs. I'm just putting your basic IDs of 1 and 2. There's a title column. There's a URL column. And we're also going to, there's a favorite ID column that we're going to be adding. Now, what we want to do here is build a relationship between this table and this table. Okay, and that relationship is here. In the favorite ID, right? Let's take a snapshot. You know what? Here. I'll share this with you so you can see yourself. I can view, copy, done. All right? You can open it up if you want. It's a Google Doc, Google Draw. What you're going to see here is there's a favorite ID column also. And in that favorite ID, it has an array. Okay? We can't touch this. Oh, you know, I'm going to get rid of this outer box because it doesn't allow me to touch the inner box. So I'm just going to get rid of that. All right. So inside of here, it's an array, right? I'm just separating it so you can see those. And it contains 2 things in here. Now, this is user ID 1, and this is user ID 1, and this is user ID number 2, and this is user ID number 2. So this CodePen link knows that the 2 users in the other table that favorited it are these 2 users, right? Now, I can have other users, right? I can have a 3rd user, right? Dean, you're a 3rd user, you know, dean@gmail.com, right? And maybe you haven't favorited any bookmarks. Maybe you haven't yet, okay? And so you don't have any favorites. So in the bookmark collection, we're not going to find your ID anywhere because we know you haven't favorited anything. So what this table, these tables allow us to do is I could query the bookmarks collection and return back all users that have favorited CodePen or all users that have favorited REPL. Or I could query user collection and query Joe or Conan or Dean and get back all of their favorites from the bookmarks collection. Do you see? It's like a many-to-many relationship. Bookmarks is referencing many in the user collection. The user collection is referencing many in the bookmark collection. And with this relationship here, we can keep track of who's got a favorite with who. Okay? So this is what's happening underneath the hood. Okay? So anytime this ID actually points to this ID here. Okay? This ID 1, I just put bookmark ID 1, but it points to that bookmark ID. So it knows the relationship, right? It points back to here. They both point to this one. So Joe and Conan both like CodePen, and we both are being referenced. Our IDs are being referenced here. Here's referencing there, okay? I just want to make it clear, like, that's what's happening under the hood. So in order to do this, we have to build this relationship here, okay? So this favorites and favorites both need, and what happens here is bookmark represents what? What does this bookmark really represent in Mongo right now? Under the constraints of what we've created, what do you think bookmark represents? It represents what?
Another collection.
Okay, another collection, right? The collection of bookmarks. And this is the collection of users. And to build the relationships, we're saying we're using the ID to match the relationship up. Whatever in there, we're going to use the type of ID to do the lookups between the two. This builds the relationship up. then it's up to us. So like when we send the user and we send it favorites, we have to like update both tables. Okay. So I have favorites. I'm just going to copy this and we can easily make this one just says favorites. So where do we update this? We update it in our models. So I'm going to go to user model bookmarks, right? Because that's, we're in bookmark. Oh no, this is user schema. All right. So let me go to users. And users doesn't have this additional information. So I'm going to comment and do that. Okay. So all I did was add this little piece. Okay. So I'm going to actually console log the whole thing. So you do not, oh, I'll slack out the whole thing. So you do not forget the comma, right? We've already learned how important commas are in JSON. Commas are going to be important here too. It will break our code if we do not have a comma. So now we've just created that relationship between the two. Okay? Now we need to create the relationship between the bookmark and the user table. And they just changed the name. This says favorites. This says favorited. Just the key that they're using. Now I'm going to go to the bookmarks, comma, paste it. I'll slack all this out right now.
Hey, Joe, one of them is called favorites with an S and the other is called favorite with a D. Is that intentional or is that just
that's intentional. Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks.
It's almost, I think what they're trying to convey is like this bookmark has been favorited by, and in the other one, it's like this user's favorites are kind of semantically like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yeah, thanks.
And so those become our relationships. We're building up this table of relationships between the two. Okay. And we know the key, you kind of understand what's happening here, right? From the diagram, the relationship table. If you had to do like something like that in a Google Sheet, you could definitely do that. You VLOOKUP tables. Anybody work with like Google Sheets and Excel sheets and do VLOOKUPs? Anyone work with that? Okay. I've done a little bit of work and you can build relationships. Yeah, I'm not really good at it, but I had to do it in the past. Okay. So we know how to do that. All right. So how would we, using what we covered earlier, build out the get routes to get all users? Okay. So do we have anything in our users controller? Nope. Your job is to retrieve all the users, okay? Perform the baby steps. We have a get route in there. There's just nothing in it, right? I'll even get you started with the baby step. Console log hitting the users get route, right? That's my baby step, which means all I have to do is change this URL from bookmarks to users. I don't need this anymore. And I should hitting the user's get route, right? I think at this point in time, the console logs are irrelevant. So let's just do res.json from this point on. I want you to get used to just doing res.json. Status. Okay, right? And if I get back status okay, I know it works. Now it's your job is to find all the users. Create the query to get all the users, okay? I don't think that's gonna take you too long. We can stay here because I don't really feel like that's gonna take you too long to find all the users.
Hey, Joe.
Yep.
Can you show your bookmark and your user.js real fast? I'm breaking. I want to make sure under the models. All right, so that's bookmark. Okay, can you show user as well? Why is mine breaking?
Did it break for anyone else? Okay.
Schema.js, that's obviously not right.
Now Ray, did you copy and paste what I sent?
Let me double check. Yeah, no, those are exactly the same.
Okay, but did you copy and paste what I sent? exactly the same and copying and pasting aren't always the same. Sometimes you might have missed a character by you typing it out manually, and that could be the case. I'll troubleshoot it if you copy and paste and then they don't work, then we can troubleshoot.
Hey Joe, can you slack out your index.js? I'm sorry, your users.js under controllers?
Okay, this. Oh, do you not have what's in here though?
No, I don't. Oh no, I don't.
You don't have any of this?
I got some of it. Give me. Oh, never mind. Never mind. All you did
Yeah.
was put raise. Okay, never mind.
All I did was add that one line of code.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yep.
So after making this change, it is showing me connected to DB like book E. So is it how I can ensure like there's no error after making changes in both files?
Did you try getting?
Yes.
Try getting the thing first.
Yeah, I'm getting this console, whatever it's just right now showing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
If you're not getting an error, like if
Yeah.
there's no explicit error happening, then you're fine.
Okay.
I'm just putting a click here when you can get all of the users. Okay, I'm just going to step away for 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
So Joe, like a quick question, like when I will be in Postmaster, I will just type what. So this will be, my request will be just with users with.
Okay, did you test it?
Okay. So I will just type localhost 8080 slash for users. That's it. Yeah.
You tell me, is that the connection? How do you determine what you're supposed to be doing? What's the URL? Look inside index.js and you'll find the answer there.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Thank you.
I fixed that one thing that was causing problems, but now I'm just hanging. I know the code is right. It's just there's something else causing it to hang elsewhere.
What was the one thing that was causing the problem, right?
There was basically what happened yesterday when we were like with everything being kind of confused on which like branch we were supposed to be on or something like that. Right around there with all this stuff, like I put some code in some other files despite because they all sounded very similar. Like users is very close to book user, and some code got shuffled around a little bit.
Okay, all right.
So
Just wanna
I
make sure it wasn't something
fixed all that, but now I'm hanging. So now I got to figure out what's causing it to hang.
Are you getting any error messages in the terminal?
No, it says it's connected. It's just hanging.
Are you saying Postman says it's connected?
Like I can load up to the default localhost 8080 just fine, but like
Okay.
when I go to like /bookmarks, it just hangs, or /users, it hangs.
Because it's not /bookmarks or /users.
Right.
This is
Let's
why.
try that. No, it's still hanging.
What's the URL then? What are you testing?
Right now I'm testing 8080/API/bookmarks. Which is what we knew it was working.
Yeah. Right. You knew that was working. Make sure maybe your server is started. Like if everything up to this point, just moments ago, you were working, then I can't imagine the edits that you just made must have broken it, right? That's got to be it. If you were able to delete and update just moments before, I can't imagine between those something that you just did caused this error.
Okay. Well, that works.
I don't know what it is because I know you said there was some stuff and one thing, but
there it goes. Okay. Something didn't save, I guess. Now it's fine.
All right, there we go. See?
Yeah.
I think you figured it out.
So then, Joe, for the users, API users, it will only return status okay. That's it.
Is that a question? What was the question?
No, just confirming. Is this correct understanding?
Did you get anything back? Those are one of those things I need you to test. I'm creating the baby steps here so that you could send something back.
Yes, that I'm getting.
Then you answered your question.
Okay.
Like if you got something back, then you know you're hitting it. There's only 2 routes that we're actually working with today, and you could tell that from index. There's just these 2. These are the only 2 that we're working with. This baby step here guarantees that we get it. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I think we got 5 clicks. 5 clicks. And I'm going to assume that the holdup is probably with the fine, right? Is that possibly it? All right. So if you followed this would have gotten you at least to be like, oh, the thing works, right? All right. So how do we find something? So maybe this is just one step where I'll walk through it, right? So if we need to do this, what's missing from here? If I do this, just watch. My assumption is that there's some sort of, and if I follow the same thing as this, like this keyword bookmark always gonna got me to the thing, right? Bookmark, 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 right? Bookmark, right? Okay. If I follow this all the way up, look, I have this thing here, right? Now, here's one thing, like a little trick that I've used to see where things are. Sometimes I'll do this. I'll highlight bookmark or something, and then I do Command D, and it cycles through every instance of where bookmark is referenced. And if I don't see it, then I could go back to users and do what I think you might have approached. Did anyone just do something like users? Did anyone do that? Just start typing in users, .find, things like that? Okay. You have to compare the files. So maybe one of the baby steps was to like compare this, and we have to input. Now, I'm not importing bookmarks right now. I'm going to import, for the sake of it. Well, you need both of them anyway. So I'm going to, get rid of that. I'm going to go back to bookmarks, and I'm just going to import this. And then I'll have this structure. I know if that's bookmarks, then if I change this to be users, and I change the models to be users, right? Then I've imported the models. Now I have all of my dependencies. All the dependencies that I need for this file, bookmarks and users, are going to work, okay? Now, once again, the other one in our bookmarks, we haven't been accessing users. We've just been dealing with bookmarks. But with users, we're going to want to like add a bookmark under a user account. So we need access to bookmarks as well. Eventually, if we want to go to bookmarks and retrieve all the users, we need that too. But in essence, we don't really need that right now. So with this in mind, I could do user.find, right? Okay, and we're only looking for all users, so it's find everything. Then, because we want to find all things, all users, right? And then we are going to res.json. And I think we could just do this without the curly brace. So we could just do res.json, all users. Let me see this without the curly brace. This is going to keep going. It keeps telling me module not found. So let me see what's happening here.
Your users, it's user.js, not users.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Bookmark users. Yep. Awesome. Okay. Wonder if this is just the remnants of that. All right.
There's also that typo in the users JS under models for the connection. That should be /db/connection.
So we're going to go up and we're going to go back. Yep. /db. Yeah, I think we had that yesterday too.
Yep.
Right. I think with the bookmarks we had to. In bookmarks here, we had to do it, right? So users, okay. Compare one, compare two, because I was getting that error, and so you have to like follow the path of the error. What's the error? And like you have to see. I'm just looking to see. Cannot find module connection. All right, this would have been that error. Like this means that this thing isn't found, right? And so I'd have to take a look. I'm just trying to see if it gave me, and it gave me the actual file. See this? That's the actual file. Let's just select that out. That's another error, right? It's trying to point me in the right direction. So I'm going to go back to the user's controller. And so now with this in place, right, this code, I'm going to make sure it works, and then I'll slack it out. I just want to see that it works. I'm going to go to API users, get, and I just get status OK because I have this. Right? And I'm getting that warning that says you can only send one. Like I'm getting that same error that I posted earlier. You cannot set headers after they are sent because I have this. So I get rid of that one. And now I test it. And now we get all the users. Right? Only 2 users right now. But we get them all. The 2 users are clearly gone. Okay. All right. So once again, without kind of reviewing this, right, that's probably could have been the thing that held people up, just not knowing. Then we have to import the things that we want. Just remember that with Node, this Node file itself needs to load everything that it needs. It's not like in an HTML file where you load a script tag and then you have access to all that code anywhere else. You don't. In Node, these files are segmented, and every time you need access to a resource, that resource needs to be loaded locally in every file, which is a tedious process. It would be nice to be like, globally, just load it, and then we can access it, okay? But every file that needs access to those resources need to be loaded here, okay? And then we can use the corresponding methods that work with that, all right? All right. What about getting one user by email address? So this one, because we alleviated all those previous issues, this one should be fairly easy, right? You're using a parameter, just like we did with title, right? You're gonna find one or use find, either one will work, and then send that specific user, okay? Find one by their email address, okay? We'll just stay in this group because it's, 1:18 Eastern Standard Time, so we're gonna go to lunch in a little bit, so let's just stay here. I'll put here when you retrieve I'm going to put a click here when you can retrieve single user based on their email.
So Joe, can I ask one question if you don't mind, please?
What's up?
So Joe, like, I think so I missed that part. When I'm adding user.js, okay, in my code, okay, so in controller user, when I'm adding user file, it is giving me an error. So
What's
what
the error you're getting? Because I posted one of the errors. Take a look at the error. You made one more edit someplace else. I slacked out one of the errors that we just used to resolve what you might be having.
Yeah, I think so.
They also just pushed up my solution. If you want, you can take a look at the solution.
Okay.
I was posted, okay? This is my first step at baby stepping, so I'm just making sure that that worked. Okay. We got 6 clicks. I just wanted to make sure if you needed a heads up, that's the heads up, and that's the URL. That's how I sent the data. Okay. All right, I just worked through the solution on the screen. See if that makes any sense. What did any of this, what was like, what is tripping people up? Well, I only see 7 clicks, so I have to assume that everyone got it. Is there anything I know earlier was these files, right? Maybe these files tripped us up. Okay, we got past that. What about this was tripping up people? Was it the find one or find? Was it like the method?
Find one. Find one.
Okay. All right, so you could find one. Now let's see, I mean, bookmarks, I'm just gonna go to bookmarks and take a look. Bookmarks allowed us to find. So you could use find or find one, didn't really make a difference. If it worked here, right, it should work there. I would even have taken like Amy's suggestion, copy and paste, right? I could have went here, got the one that got me a bookmark that worked, pasted it, changed only like this to be email, changed this to be users and like this to be email, right? And it would have worked, okay? And it's okay, I'm not always saying copy paste, but if you copy paste and you can change the right things, then you know what to change and you know how to make it work for you. If you copy paste and you still struggle and you can't get the right things in the right places, then you don't really know how it works, right? So it would have just been as easy to take this title, right? I took it into users and I did the same thing. So here, I'm gonna create the same thing. Look, email title. I know that this should be email, right? All right. Here we created a variable. There's no variable. That's fine. This we know isn't going to be bookmarks. That's going to be users. Okay. We're not doing title. We're doing email. So if I left it this way, I would have done email, right? Okay. I'm not really sending back bookmarks, but this essentially would have worked. Doesn't matter if you call it bookmarks at this point. It's whatever you want to call it. But I would have said, and I would have done it like this, highlight both, Command D, highlights both, and do this, user. Bang, and all in one shot, and I would have had the same thing, okay? Just trying to show you little efficiencies. Once again, highlighting that user and pressing Command D will highlight them. Now I have 2 more users up here, so if I keep clicking Command D, it's gonna highlight those, and then I would be changing those essentially, and I don't wanna change those. I just wanna change these. And these are identical, right? If I comment this out, this should work. Oh, what does it do? What did I do wrong here? Email, router.ret get.
On
user-
line 18, you have title, params.title instead of
Oh,
params.
yeah. There we go. See? And you see why copying and pasting now forces me to be like, what did I miss? What is it that I'm missing? And now that I change this to email, I'll never make that mistake again. And was there an error? No, I didn't get any error. And I would have to say, why didn't I get an error? I got an empty object, which means it didn't find the user. And so I'm going to follow my thought pattern. If it didn't find the user, why didn't it find the user? Okay, well, I see email, and then, oh, because of this, right? That would have been my next thought process. Or console log, rec.params, to see that email is there, right? That's the thought process. Now that we do this, I'll get back to the user, okay? So both of them work. This, okay? And I would just copy and paste. It could be fairly easy like that. At least at this stage, like you don't know what you're doing. So it's like, let's work through it. All right. So what we're going to have to do is when we come back from lunch, we're going to jump back in. They're doing like the homework review algo thing for that hour, but we need to finish the lecture. Okay. We're taking it slower. So it requires that we kind of dip into that time to finish the lecture, because after that, the afternoon is all lab. So after that 1 hour, the afternoon is all lab. So we're going to jump back in here at after lunch. We'll finish up the rest of the lecture, which is only going to take about maybe 30 minutes max, maybe. We can answer any questions, get you up to speed, and then you'll jump into the lab. Okay?
Joe, can I get 1 minute from your side?
Sure. Yeah. What's up? Everyone else can go to lunch. I'll help Muhammad out right now. What's up?
Thank you. I'm sharing my screen.
Okay. Well, I have to stop sharing my screen. Now go. Share your screen.
Yes. Thank you. So actually means so see here, like this is the problem.
That's not the problem though. Look at that error message, Muhammad.
Some hope. I don't know. My brain is so it is.
Cannot find module connection.
Yes. This
Where
one.
is it? Where is that error coming from? Look at the file paths right underneath it.
So it is coming from user.js.
All right, go into user.js.
Okay, I'm going over there, user.js. Okay.
All right, so here. So on line 1 is probably where the error is coming from, right?
Yes.
All right, so compare line 1 there with line 1 in bookmarks.js.
Okay.
Are they different?
Give me 1 minute, okay. Just we can compare it. Yes, they are different.
Okay.
So, okay, I need to move it.
So you can figure out why it's different, right? It's just paths.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Give me 1 minute. One more thing I need to discuss. Just I will take.
And that you could have asked that question in Tech Talk, and Nathaniel could have answered it as well, okay?
Yeah, so one more thing.
It's better that you're not sitting there like working through the same error,
okay,
which we already worked through. So something like that, we already worked through it. So next time post that in Tech Talk so you can get immediate help.
Okay, one more thing. So in users.js, whatever you wrote, can you ping me that one also if you don't mind, please?
I'm going to push it up. Okay. Okay, I just pushed it up.
Okay, thank you.
Just take a look at mine and you'll be able to have the whole solution, okay?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
but I also, yeah, just take a look. You'll see. Okay?
Thank you, Joe.
Sweet. I'm recording. Awesome. So we left off with finding a user based on their email, right? And this would have worked. I don't think there's any other, let me just take a look. Users. Yeah, there's name. We could have done name too, right? Could have looked for that as well. But yeah, all this was for name. So the same with bookmarks, where we created bookmarks, we updated bookmarks, delete bookmarks. We're going to do a few more things with the users, right? What's important here is creating a user. So the pattern of creating a user, and we're going to do this together, and we'll do the next two together, is using the create method, right? So we have to send data. Obviously, we have to send some data. New user, we're going to be sending data. We're using the post method, right? The HTTP method, post. And with that method, we will grab the body. We will pass that body, which will be an object, key value pairs, right? And that's what Mongo takes. And then it will respond back with that object created, right? So with this one particular route, I'll just select that out. We can create a brand new user. So I'm going to go here. I'm just, once again, I mean, you have the code. I just want to test things out as well. I'm going to post, and I'm going to post to the default routes. And this route here is represented by what? What is that actual route? What would that route look like? HTTP, :2// whatever our server name. Our server just happens to be localhost 8080, right? / what? What is it?
User.
Well, users is in there, but there's something here.
API.
API.
Users, right?
No, user.
Yeah.
This is all preceding this, right? I mean, this is our server, so our server knows what address it's on. But this / really represents that / there. See this one? This is the one that's represented by here, knowing that you would have only made it to this file. You would have only made it to this route if this was already matched in a previous file, right? We're getting this because in index, we have this, right? So don't copy this. I'm just copying it to give you context. Because we have this, right, here, once it's hit an index, it then sends all further requests here. There's no point in writing out API users here, okay? Because it already knows where you're at is this thing. That's where you're at, okay? So I'm going to get rid of this localhost because we don't need that. But this, it already knows we're here. Just want to really emphasize that. This app.use, it's kind of like a routing thing, right? We had app.get. Then we were using router here, this router tool here, which expresses router functionality. It just gives us some extended functionality. And then we also have with app.use, which is kind of a router thing too. Listen for these routes. If they hit, you go here. All right. So if I'm posting, all right, that's just a method. I'm in users. I have to do rec res. Right? I see the color coding off, so I know that I don't have the comma here. Boom. All right. Quote, boom. Now I know it works. And then I was, res.json status. Okay, right? Just make sure it works. It is a post, and we need to send data too, right? I'm going to make sure that this post works. I get back something, then I'll take it to the next level, right? So I'm just going to go here, change this drop down to post, change it just to users, right? There is no ID being sent, and I should, if this works, oh, I don't get a response. Now I don't get a response because I don't have my server running because I just remembered I pushed up all my changes just before we went to lunch. So my server's working, post it. I get status okay, great, status okay, that's what I want. Now I need, in order to post, I have to send data, right? Data has to be sent. And we're on body, and here's the body, here's the body, here's raw, here's application JSON, and now we can send some data to post, right? And excuse me. Oh, what we need to post is, let's see what the user takes, is a name and an email, right? We could give favorites here, not right now, but we could do favorites, but we have name and email, okay? And those would be the two things we would need to do. So we go back here and create an object that has name, right? Give it whatever name you is. We're creating user, and let's Jack Sparrow. How about that? And I don't know, Jack Sparrow has an email, right? I don't know. You know, anybody remember the name of his ship? What was the name of his ship? I don't know.
The Black Pearl.
All right, I'll just say, was it the Black Sparrow? I don't know. Black
The
Pearl?
Black Pearl.
It's the Black Pearl.
There you go. Black Pearl at badass.com, because he was a badass, right? Jack Sparrow. That's probably one of my most favorite characters by Johnny Depp. Right?
Honestly, he probably would use a Pirate Bay email address.
Probably, right? At pirates.com. Maybe that. Pirates.com. We don't want to single him out. There's a lot of other pretty badass pirates out there. Okay. Anyway, blackpearlpirates.com. All right. If we send this, we're still going to get status okay because I haven't changed anything. I haven't updated anything. So I want to update in my controller. I want to at least see that data before I try writing it, confirm that I see it. And we know, so I'll say let user data equal to rec.body. Because we're sending body now. We're not sending a params. Up here, this was params. Params is what's in the URL. Body is what's in the body. All right, so I'm going to still do status okay, but I'm going to say, user data. Because this key is the same value as that, is the same name as the variable. It'll take the same data, okay? Just trying to keep us refreshed with, ES6 syntax. Here we go, boom. I get it, I get status okay, and here's the user data that we sent, right? Okay, well, if I have the user data, then I should be able to create a new user, right? I don't need this anymore. Once again, that was just testing purposes. If I keep it there, I'm going to get that error message. You can only have one connection or what it was. So we are going to user.create. What are we creating? Well, user data. That's what we sent. That's what we want to create. All right, well, when that happens, then that's our promise. And we can say what? User, and this user is going to do a res.json, and we'll send back the actual user, right? So we're posting a user, create a user, we give them the data. Now what I had selected out, I think, was user, new user. I'm just putting your user data. Right? It's different than what I sent out, right? New user. I'm going to change this so it's exactly what I selected out, so there's no confusion. New user, and then this would be a new user, right? Easy enough, right? And then I said user here. It said created there. I don't really feel like created's the thing. I mean, it's more like a user. All right, let's test this out. Go back here. If this works, we should get back. There we go. Because I got an ID, I knew that it worked. And it's sending me back favorites, which we didn't do favorites because it's empty, right? I didn't send a favorite along with the thing. The favorite's empty. Okay? That's the only subtle difference here of what I did and what I slacked out was the, I called it user. What I slacked out said created. The naming convention, you could do whatever you want. Make it semantically to what you're doing, okay? That's easy enough, right? Not too hard. Just using post and body. That's it. So if you don't see anything like this, if you don't see any colon, then you know you must be sending the values via the body. And this is important because how do you think ultimately we're going to be sending data to the server on the front end? What do you think is the mechanism on the front end that is going to allow us to capture user data and send it to the server? You do it all the time.
A form.
A form, right? A form. And a lot of the times when we were using forms in React, we didn't really work with the action property. And that's, we will be working with the action property in a form, and that is to tell it what URL to go to. And because it's a form, it will take the data and then package it and send it. Okay, it does that all under the hood. We don't have to do that. But that's going to be important, knowing that the form is going to be sending this. We're not going to be using Postman to create the user. The form is going to create the user. Okay. So now let's create a user with favorited bookmarks. Okay. So here we're posting something new. Okay. So here, this was post a user, and now we want to post new. Now, this is probably how you would do it, you know, having some sort of indication in the URL. It doesn't always have to be, right? The fact that we're posting here states that we're posting something, but this isn't a user. But we still can use other commands like new to post something. So it doesn't matter. We'll use post new. So let's go back here. I'm going to do router post new. Okay, I'm going to just create the structure rec res. Okay. Now anything with API users new would come here. I'm going to rec res.json. I'm doing the same thing, right? I don't even have to do this. I'm just going to copy this one, and then I will make the edits to get rid of it. I get rid of user data because that doesn't exist. I just want to make sure that this works right here. So all I'm doing is router.post to the new route. If that works, we'll get something back. That's it. Just going to test that out. Go back here, post, router, API users new, send, status okay, right? Okay. I mean, after a while, we can stop doing these kind of baby steps because you kind of know they're always going to work. But once again, even when I do click events, when I'm working on stuff, I just put a console log, click, know it clicked, know it works. So I don't have to troubleshoot twice as much, right? All right. We are touching both of these, okay? If we're going to add a bookmark, the bookmark needs to be an ID, needs to be a reference to the bookmark in the bookmarks table. Right? Remember the little table I created here? So bookmarks is going to have bookmarks, and these bookmarks are themselves going to have an ID and point to the user that created them or that has a favorite to them. Okay? So we need, if we're going to create a user and the bookmarks, we need both of these models, which we have, right? We have both of those models. Inside users, we have bookmarks and users, which means we can use both of them and both of those tables. Once again, if I go to the users table, I see I have a reference here to bookmarks. Every object that gets added here is going to be a reference to the bookmark, and we're going to use the ID to do the reference. Okay? Let me see, did I give all? Okay. So let's go ahead and create our user. Oh, man, my neck. All right. Go back to users, and here we are. So we don't need this anymore. I confirmed it worked. Once again, just want to make sure things work. Okay. If we're going to create a user, then I need to do user.create, right? Now, once again, I can create the body. I have this rec.body, so I can even take that and put it here, right? Okay. And this, I'm going to assume, should this just, a general question. Should this be a let or a const, or does it make a difference?
I think it should be a let because you are changing the data. Like it's
Am
just
I?
better in this case. Like I think const would work, but let's probably just better overall.
Okay. Why is it better? Just think you're on an interview. You said that answer. As the interviewer, I'm going to push you into a corner with this one. Why is let better?
Because let is allows you to mutate the data within it, so you can. Whereas const you set it and it can't be changed.
Okay.
Like in case the data needs to be mutated at all or changed, it allows you to change it. Whereas const will tell you no, and you have to do other things.
Okay. I mean, Ray, I'm going to say you're like 90% right on this one. You're missing just one or two details. Does anyone else want to kind of chime in on it?
So this is my thought, like let allow us to reinitialize the variable, or we can reset the value. Instead of const, we cannot change the value. It will be constant. But in this case, every time we need to have a request, so let will be used instead of a const.
Okay, so I like that. You're following the process. Who else? I know if you're talking, you're on mute. I can't hear you, so I don't know. Who else? You're still work on that. How about Mike S? Mike Smith, talk to me. What's your thoughts?
I always thought of it as what Ray said earlier, is that lets you change the value of it, whereas const does not.
Okay. All right, so the general theme here is, who thinks it should be let then? Just raise your hand. I want to get everyone else's opinion. Let's. All right, so everyone else thinks it's const? Is that it? Okay. Actually, who thinks it's const? Who thinks it could be const? Going once, going twice, nobody.
I think so.
All right, Dean's on board. I love it. All right, it can be const. And so you might ask yourself, why can't it be const? So to sum up what Ray said, Muhammad and Mike, you're right. Let does not allow the value to be const does not allow the value to be reassigned. New user can never be reassigned, correct? Okay. Let allows new user to be reassigned a new value, right? Okay. Under those pretexts, we know how they work. When we hit this router post, every time we hit it, we're running a brand new function, right? Is this a function? So every time we run a brand new function, what happens to the internals here? Everything gets recreated again. A const new user variable gets recreated, not reassigned, not redefined, but recreated from scratch. There will be no conflict because after we create the first user, that function just kind of ends and that's it. So this should work here. Like I'm hoping it works. I'm almost like saying it's going to work. We're going to test it out anyway. I just wanted to get that. That could be an interview question. That would be a question I would ask. And a const can be mutated also. A const, if the variable is set to an array, you can push and pop things out of that array at will because you did not reassign it. You're allowed to mutate an array, okay? Like if it was a string and I was concatenating, then I'm really reassigning the old string to a new string that contains the new letter. That's reassignment. Mutation can happen inside an array and an object. So I just wanted to throw that out there, okay? So if we're gonna, yep.
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter though in this particular situation which one you use, right?
It really doesn't matter, no, right?
Yeah.
But so what I would just suggest though, if you're writing your code knowing that it won't change, wouldn't it be better practice to write it using the syntax that kind of indicates it won't be changed at all? Just for, in this instance, it's not a big deal. You're right. I mean, this is really small. This is not a big deal. But in the end, when you're writing your code, best practices would be to indicate that this variable is never going to be reassigned. So call it a const if it's never going to be reassigned. That's just all I'm going. It doesn't really matter. All right. So we're going to create. What are we going to create? New user, because that's new user, because that's what's in rec.body, right? Okay. Now, we actually have to, when we do rec.body, sending the user, oh, I should be able to do this. Let me do this. Rec.body user. Let me just test this out. Then, and what do we want to do? Well, we are going to be passing user. How about this? User. And then we're going to, I just want to confirm that the user would be created. And then we can like create another user. If we can do this, we can create the user. Actually, no, because we already created a user up here. So it's no big deal. All right. So let's do new user. And I am actually going to do this. User, bookmark. Just trying to think in my head, when we do send the data, how do we structure the data, right? So if I do just body like this, then that means that when I do it, it would have to be something like this, right? That would be the structure if I wanted to send it. So this alone would work by itself, right? Okay. So that would capture it. That's the user then. And I just want to make sure, hold on one second. I'm not deviating too much. Oh, here though, okay. If we send the user info like this, right? If we sent the data like that, how would we need to restructure this? What would body be then? I just think this is the data. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna put it over here, I'll paste it here and I'll comment it out. If this is how we structure the data, rec.body needs to be what? Remember, this is an object. All right, maybe it'll look better.
Dot user?
Yeah, dot user. So if I paste it in here, just so that you can see, if I send an object, then there's a user key and contains the user information. There's a bookmark key that contains the bookmark information, okay? So if we're going to do this structure that's in the lecture, then we have to do dot user, because we need an object returned back to us that contains the user information, okay? That's important. Depends how you send it. Once again, we're sending it like this. That's the reason why. We could have sent it as an object with name, email, and bookmark as a key, and bookmark could have had an object. That could have been another example. But in this, they split it into higher level keys here, okay? So with that in mind, that we have higher level keys, we're gonna do dot user, then we create. Okay, so now we have new user, here we go. And now we have to do something else. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Now that we have the user, and we're going to create the user, right? Now just imagine this. Take a moment, I'm gonna go back to our little table right here. I create the user here, right? What's the next thing that I would need to do? Say the user's created and I have an ID for the user, right? What would be the next thing that you would do? Say you return back the user's object. What do you do now?
Bookmark.
Bookmark, right? I create a user and I have the user's ID. I still need to create the bookmark also, right? The bookmark hasn't been created. It's in a separate table or separate collection, okay? This gets created, then we have to do this. So keep that in mind, because now inside of here, let's just say this was created. We're gonna get the user returned to us. When we get the user returned to us, we can say bookmark.create. Hey, the user was created, so let's create the actual bookmark. Okay, so I'm gonna say let user, and I'm gonna say const, maybe bookmark is equal to rec.body.bookmark, right? Because we know that this is the structure of the data, right? This was user, and this bookmark right here is this bookmark, and that's gonna return an object. And we're gonna do it. Create. What are we creating? Bookmark, right? Book, because that's the bookmark up there, bookmark, okay? Same thing, then, right? Okay, then in here we could say bookmark, right? I mean, here I said new user. Maybe I'm gonna do here, new bookmark. So that kind of makes sense. New user, new bookmark, bookmark, and this will be new. I'm just trying to use the same syntax, right? New user, new bookmark, new user, new bookmark. Makes sense. This is user, this is bookmark. Just want to be semantically kind of in line with what we'd be doing. All right. So now we have to do this. Okay. The new user, the user, okay. So the user, which is this user that was returned back to us, we need to go to its favorites because it's an array, and we need to push in the bookmark dot underscore ID, okay? So we're going to take the ID, since we have the user, and then we created the bookmark. Let's start with pushing the user, the bookmark ID for the users, right? So now that we've gotten that out, then we can do bookmark, right? Dot favorited, right? Favorited, favorited, dot push, and we can push in user dot underscore ID. And I'm using the underscore IDs because when we did send data to create bless you. When we did send data to create a new user, it sent back, I don't know why it broke. Might it break? I think because we're not finished with this, maybe? Not sure. All right, never mind. You saw that when we were creating stuff, we were getting an ID, and it was an underscore ID, okay? That's how it says it. All right, so now we did this. We're in bookmarks. We are going to save both of them. So we're going to do user dot save bookmark dot save, and then respond back to the person or to the site that has to have this created and say res.json user, okay? This should work. Okay, so I'll just put some notes. This grabs the user data from the user key, right? User key in rec.body. Grabs the bookmark data from the bookmark key in rec.body, okay? And then creates the user, creates the bookmark, okay? Adds the bookmark, and it adds the bookmark ID to the user's favorites array, okay? It's the ID, because when we want to look up all the bookmarks for the user, we're going to loop over the bookmarks, the favorites ID, and get a reference to that, and then do a find and return back individual instance of every bookmark ID. So we're going to do some sort of map functionality to map over the array for every element that we find. Go get the ID, return it. Go get the ID, return it. Then we can build up that array with the things, okay? Add the user ID to the bookmarks favorited array, right? Save changes to user, save changes to bookmark. And then this does what? What does res.json do? Who wants to tell me that? That should be like a piece of cake.
Returns.
Yeah, returns JSON, right? Returns the user. The user as JSON, right? Okay, let's test this out. Okay, now we have this. We can test this out, right? So I already had this, right? I'm gonna go here, new. I'm gonna get rid of that, right? This is what I'm gonna test. Let me test it first. If it works, We can take a look. Let's see. Post looks good. Oh yeah, look at this. I get the user. And look, in the favorites table, there's only an ID now. You don't see the name of the favorites. You only see a reference to the favorites as the ID. Okay? You won't see it, only the reference to it. Okay?
Quick question.
Sure, yeah. What's up?
I guess doing the user.save, that's the first time we've seen that.
Because
obviously it's saving it, but I guess why now? And
because we created the user already, Mike, right? We kind of edited the user.
yeah.
We mutated the user after we created it. So Mongo states that, you know, if you mutate the thing immediately after you create it in kind of this loop, that you need to save those changes. Okay?
Okay.
That's the reason why. Before, we just created users and we returned the user. Now we're like creating the user, we get back the user object, then we edit the user. So think about the ability in this instance, you know, here are our outliers. Say you made an edit to something and then you ran some sort of check and something happened where the check returns false and it should not happen. This might allow us to bail out on adding that thing to the user's favorite, right? If we don't save it, then that gives us an out, right? We can just be like, oh, don't save. Something else happened, the database, yada, yada, don't save the thing, right? It does give us some sort of out at that point in time. But the underlying logic is just, we edit it while we're still in this process. And because we edited it this way, we didn't use anything like update, right?
Well, that's what I was just going to ask. I mean, could you have done an update? But this seems to make more sense. But
well, doesn't an update require that you kind of send something like, doesn't the update tell you that you need to like give a reference to the thing that you want to update and then the value that you want to update, right?
Yeah.
All right. So in this instance, we kind of mutated the thing like it's just plain JavaScript, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And this is easy for us to do because we know JavaScript. And then this is super easier to use than like grab the thing, buy the thing, and like that would be a little bit more work.
Sure.
Right?
No, yeah. Makes sense.
It's our way of doing it. No, I mean, that's a good question. It's the first time you're saying it, so I can see that. So, you know, give this a test. You have the data, right? Then I slack out the data. All right, let me slack out this whole thing, right? Because I don't think I did that, right? You slack out the whole post. We're encoding along. Cool. And then give it a test. Give that user a test. See if that works.
What does your response look like if you scroll down?
Sure.
Hey, Joe, can you go up to go into your users.js and scroll to the top of it?
Just give me a second. I'm going to slack out. This is what you should get. Okay. If
I got everything but name and email on that. I must have missed something.
Okay. I'm just going to slack out. If successful, you will. If successful, you should see this in Postman. Okay. Did you send it like this? And then Ray, I'll go over to it in just 1 second. All right. Where did you want me to go, Ray?
I wanted you to check your index.js real fast. Go to the very top of it. I think I'm missing something. Oh, wait a second.
Yeah, this is index.js though, right?
Yeah, I was in users, I think, which is my
Got it.
problem.
Okay.
Let me go to index.
I mean, we were in users. That's where we were making all our changes.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah, then that's
If
what
it
I
happened to
wanted.
be an index doing it, then that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, no. Okay, no. Can you go to the top of your users? I mean,
Got it.
I think I was missing something. Bookmark.
Okay, I just slacked out what's at the top of users.js. Okay. Okay, so I'm just putting here, click here if you're successful. I see.
There it goes. I think there was something had to do with ordering.
Okay.
Joe, I'm not getting name and email like you did in my response, and I don't have any errors, so I'm not really sure what to look at.
Okay, can you share your screen then, Amy? Let's take a look. Let's take a look, see. Okay, so you got user, email, bookmark. Yeah, so it does not look like it's sending back.
So I got post, new. It's giving me a response. I just don't have everything.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's telling me if it's successful. I'm getting back just, yeah, test relation. So you're just getting that. So let me see. Yeah, user, name, email. That looks good. That looks good. Bookmark. All right, so let's take a look at your code. So use that to create user. Right. Oh, there you go, Amy. There you go. Amy, who can tell me, looking at Amy's code, line 25. Hint, line 25.
Should be rec.body.user.
Booyah! Yep. There you go.
Good old syntax.
Good old syntax there, Amy. Good old syntax there. All right. I know.
That's my gift for not copy pasting for once.
The thing is, too, is like when it works, if it doesn't work, copy paste. Does it work? Awesome. Then you can like go back to your code and then just start. And this is a time consuming process though. You could start copying and pasting only parts of the code until you get the line that you know is it, you know?
Yeah.
Best that I can say. Not to do now because that would take you a while. You know, I would take you a minute or so to be like, let me just, but at least you know now. Sweet. All right, so we only got 4 clicks. Anybody else? Anybody else?
So Joe, I'm getting null return. So can I show you?
You're getting null return. Do you have this?
Yes, just
Yeah. First, just do me a favor, Mohammed. Copy paste what I had. Copy and paste and see if that works. We can take a look. Anyone else?
I'm getting an error that it cannot read property favorites of undefined.
Cannot read property favorites of undefined. Okay. That's a whole different error altogether, right? All right. Share your screen.
Okay.
I had the same error.
Okay, so we got 2 errors. Let's take a look.
I got to
All
fix it.
So cannot read property favorites of undefined. So we know favorites is part of users, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go to the user model, and you do have favorites there. Okay. Oh, where are you? Where are you actually sending the data? I don't see anything there where you're sending anything. Did you create a user in new? In Postman, I don't see any data. Are you like, where's the user?
Right here?
Yeah, you got to copy paste that user.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, it's slacked out the structure to use.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. That the same, Mike? Mike, was that the same for yours? Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen just to show you what.
I copied the wrong schema into the wrong module.
Oh, that'll be a problem too. Yeah.
Okay, that worked. Thank you. So you just created that structure
Yeah.
though? Okay.
This
Okay.
structure, I am following the lecture to a degree, and I'm trying to follow as most as I can. I may make some edits, like with the naming conventions in those callbacks.
Mhm.
Instead of saying created, I called it user. That's the only thing. But we have to send data through Postman. We have to send an object. And the object that we're sending is this. And if we're sending this object, I posted it here earlier when we were making the decision on like, hey, this should be rec.body. And I was just going to do rec.body and then elicit the user values from there. However, this structure makes more sense because if I do .user, it has an object already of the key value pairs. Bookmarks has the key value pairs, right? That's why. And if anything too, the models need to have these relationships added, right? And we did this much earlier. This is like one of the first things we did earlier today was to build up the models. And we didn't use this. We did it really early on in the lecture. Let me say, we did it all the way in the second half. Yeah, well, we did it here. Maybe not all the way, but we did it earlier on. And then we went to create users and we did all this with users and blah, blah, blah. And then we come down here and we create a favorite. We could have waited till now to do the favorite because we really weren't using it earlier. But, okay. So we have our user. Boop. Now, you need to create a favorite bookmark. A favorite bookmark. Think this through, a favorite bookmark, which is, in all honesty, the same thing as this, but just like a little bit of reverse around stuff, right? Instead of users, it'll be bookmark, right? These two would get flipped around. Think of what you're creating first. If I'm creating a bookmark, then I can tell the bookmark to have a user ID associated with it. No? Yes. Okay. Now it says here to create the bookmark, you need two commands, one for the user and one for the bookmark. So you're not creating a user, you're only creating a bookmark. So really you only need the bookmark, but you also need the user, right? Now, if you send the user ID, well, then you can use something like find to get the user ID, right? Or the ID can be used here, right? Let's take a look at this relationship. The bookmarks just needs the ID of the thing. The person who needs to be put in here just needs to be this, okay? Yes. Yes, Joe. Yes.
So, okay. So, Joe, can I ask one question?
Did we post bookmark? Hold on one second. I'm sorry, man. Just give me 1 second. We did bookmark. We did post a bookmark. We did put a title. I'm just trying to see what we did do. I almost feel like we did delete. Yeah, we did everything there. So just on users. I'm just kind of comparing what we have here. I want to make sure when we do it, we only really have one more thing to do here, right? We did that. Now you do favorite a bookmark. Oh yeah, you're favoriting a bookmark. That's it. See if you can add a route that adds a bookmark to a user's favorite route. That's the thing, okay? And the fact that you need two params would be this. I'll just get you started with the params, and then I'll answer your question, Mom. Just give me a second, okay? So here, if we're gonna add, all right, adds a bookmark to a user's favorite, right? Okay. if I'm going to add a bookmark to a user's favorite, what would that entail? What's the assumption here? Is the user created, right? That would be my assumption. I'm assuming.
Post. Router.post, right?
Okay. Well, if the user exists, right?
It would be a put instead, right?
Yeah, you could update it with a put. That's kind of where I'm going. Like, let's make an assumption. The user already exists. So I'm updating, right? At least I'm updating the user. So the method becomes, right? The method would be router.put, because put is an update. Okay? So it would be something like this. If we need the ID of the user, right? And we also know about the bookmark. Say we know the bookmark ID as well. We can do bookmark ID as well. And do bookmark ID. Okay. I'm just going to give you the structure. Rec, res, and then you can run with it. Okay. So they didn't tell us here. They're just in the instructions that see if you can add a route that adds a bookmark to the user's favorites. Okay. This is going to be similar to the previous exercise. Now, this is where the key is. You need two params, one for the user and one for the bookmark. I prefer ID, but you can use any way to query for them, okay? Use find one and update for the user, so we can find the user. Push each ID into each other's favorite properties, right? If the user now has an ID, then the bookmark needs to also have an ID of the user, right? It's kind of swappy thing. Save both of them and then send it, okay? But it's similar to this, but just a little different, okay? Make sure you test this out. Test that this route works and that you can grab both params. That would be the same. That would be my suggestion. Maybe even use res.json to do that. Okay, that's what I would do. Okay. I think that's going to take, I'm going to put 10 minutes on the clock. Nathaniel, you want to create some breakout rooms? I want to do some breakout rooms. Give you 10 minutes in the breakout room. I'll post here. Click here when you are able to update user. Did you get a room mic? Okay. I'm good. They're in.
There.